Hey everybody! To start off, I want to say thank you to everyone who watched my last video and gave me valuable feedback. From the many of you who let me know that my beard was too long, to those who told me that you want to hear about something a little less coronavirus related. And because I recognize good feedback when I hear it, stop it. I figured I'd make a video about one of the many things Trump's been getting away with while the media and the public are distracted by, I don't know, maybe something like a crazy headline.
Were you saying something?
Please don't drink bleach. But let's actually talk about that headline. It actually provides a great example of what I believe to be Trump's greatest strength.
You think Trump draws his strength from injecting himself with bleach?
You put that down. My point is that Trump's strength is his ability to manipulate the media. There's a billion things going on in the news right now, but the thing you're most likely to have heard of is probably Trump's bleach comment. To understand why, we have to take a step back and examine what's been happening to news organizations over the last couple of decades. Traditionally, with a consistent reader base, news organizations could rely on ad revenue to survive. But in the age of the internet, there's a whole lot more competition for your attention. To continue getting enough ad revenue, news organizations have had to prioritize what's actually going to hold people's attention. And what's interesting versus what's important are rarely the same. Be honest. Which headline would you be more likely to click on?
Bleach link.
Exactly. So many news organizations prioritize eye-grabbing absurdity over objectively important news in order to survive financially. And Trump has provided plenty of absurdity.
Wind. They say the noise causes cancer.
Seemed to alter a forecast on the storm's path from last week with a circle added in Sharpie to include Alabama.
It's certainly interesting, but the craziness of it all is enough to make a lot of us tune out altogether. And while our backs have been turned, Trump's been getting away with quite a lot of stuff that would be a major scandal for any other president.
Sorry, Trump just tweeted something again. In any case, Trump wouldn't be doing anything sketchy. He's focused on the coronavirus.
Not exactly. While we've all been focused on the coronavirus, Trump's been getting away with quite a lot of stuff without much scrutiny. One example is the string of inspectors general and whistleblowers that he's either fired or demoted in recent months.
Inspector General. Is that like Inspector Gadget rising the ranks through the army?
Pretty close. The job of an inspector general is basically to oversee what's happening in the government department that they work for. Virtually every government agency has one. They do that job by auditing and investigating fraud, waste, abuse, embezzlement, and mismanagement of any kind. In fact, it's because of the Inspector General at the Department of Homeland Security that we found out about Trump putting children in cages at the border in the first place.
So Inspector Generals are there basically to prevent
Government corruption.
Trump must love them.
Well, let's do what Trump supporters say and look at his actions, not his words. On April 3rd, Trump fired Michael Atkinson. He was the Inspector General that delivered the whistleblower complaint to Congress which started the impeachment inquiry earlier this year. When Trump was asked about this, he said, "He did a terrible job, absolutely terrible. And he took a fake report and he gave it to Congress." Trump conveniently ignores here the fact that inspectors general are legally required to provide whistleblower reports to Congress.
So as an act of political revenge, Trump fired a guy who worked to prevent corruption. Who cares? It's not like he's doing this with inspector gadgets that have important oversight positions right now.
You remember that $2 trillion stimulus bill?
Obviously.
Well, it included some oversight provisions to make sure that the money actually ended up where it was supposed to go. One of those provisions was to appoint a council of inspectors general to oversee the way the money was spent. But hours after he signed the bill, Trump issued a statement saying that he saw all oversight provisions as optional.
Whoa, can he do that?
I mean, it's kind of like,
I declare bankruptcy!
just saying it doesn't make it legally true.
I didn't say it, I declared it. Still.
He doesn't technically have the authority to just ignore parts of laws that he doesn't like, but to stop him, we'd have to go to court, which could take months or even years. So Trump is feeling pretty good about getting away with whatever he wants. And just as Glenn Fine, the acting inspector general for the Department of Defense, was set to start seeing the way that the stimulus was being spent,
You're fired.
this was only 4 days after Atkinson was fired.
Okay, so he's firing people who would tell the public how he's spending the $2 trillion. But at least he's not firing people for providing basic facts, right?
Really appreciate these coincidental tee-ups for exactly what Trump did, Graham.
Just reading the script.
On April 3rd, the Inspector General at the Department of Health and Human Services issued a report. The report highlighted a shortage of medical supplies and a delay in getting enough tests at hospitals during the pandemic. When asked about the report during an interview on April 6th, Trump said, "Did I hear the word Inspector General? Really? It's wrong. They'll talk to you about it. It's wrong." Where did he come from? The Inspector General. What's his name? No, what's his name? What's his name? When Trump finally found out who it was, he dismissed her as politically biased. Well, she spent 8 years with the Obama administration, but she's actually worked for every president since Bill Clinton. Regardless, on May 1st,
And it's gone.
Trump removed her from her post.
That's a lot of fired Inspector Gadgets. Who gets those jobs now?
Trump gets to nominate new inspectors general, but they do have to be approved by the Senate. But because Republicans control the Senate, he can basically choose whoever he wants. And he's choosing political allies like Congressman John Ratcliffe to oversee all of our intelligence agencies. Ratcliffe may have zero experience in any type of intelligence work, but he has publicly denied the fact that Russia interfered in the 2016 election. So in Trump's eyes, he sounds absolutely incredible. He'll do a perfect job.
Whistleblower, that sounds bad. I am blowing the whistle.
Look at you paying attention. So the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, has repeatedly been accused of misusing government funds. He allegedly used tax dollars to host private fundraising dinners at the White House with big-name Republican donors, and he was having State Department employees do everything from walk his dog to pick up his dry cleaning. So a whistleblower complaint was filed. So Inspector General Steve Linick from the State Department was investigating Pompeo. Linick also happened to be investigating Pompeo for pushing to declare a state of emergency to override Congress and sell weapons to Saudi Arabia. Congress was hesitant to make the sale because we had just discovered that Saudi Arabia had murdered an American journalist for investigating him. Trump ended up selling the weapons, and when Pompeo found out that Linick was investigating that, he began urging Trump to fire him. And sure enough, on May 15th,
You're fired.
Linick was out of there.
Damn. I guess that is pretty corrupt.
Yeah, dude, that's why I've been trying to sound the alarm about Trump. Do you see what I'm trying to say here?
I think so. You're saying that despite the fact that Trump consistently complains about corruption, in the last few weeks he's fired or demoted officials because they didn't break the law to protect his reputation, tried to do their jobs and oversee how he's spending trillions of dollars, delivered facts that could save lives but exposed his failures, investigated claims that his administration was using our tax dollars for their personal and political gain, and he's getting away with it because the media is distracted and the public is overwhelmed into complacency?
Wow. That's exactly what I'm saying.
I guess we need to get him out of the White House.
Yeah, we gotta beat him.